Now on to spring weddings. They're being canceled all across the Tennessee Valley, but our Kenesha Dees talks to some of these brides-to-be about their schedule changes.
I spoke with two brides from Madison, and they said despite the cancellation of their spring wedding, they still have a wedding to look forward to.
Abigail Holtzclaw, proudly showing her engagement ring, planned to say I do to Alex Koberline on June 13th. But those plans have changed. Social distancing caused this couple to postpone their wedding till August 8th.
It was a really tough decision. My fiance and I really sat down and thought through, what was best for ourselves, our guests more than anything.
They thought about vendors too. Even still, Abigail made light of the situation.
My mom and I joked no one dreams of being a coronavirus bride.
Meanwhile, plan B for this bride-to-be?
So we are having a small ceremony at Smith Lake, and our friends that live nearby will be able to watch from their boats.
And this is scheduled for April 18th.
And that's really exciting, and honestly, from our perspective, the brightest side of all of this. So we can start our lives together and find our new normal together.
Beth and Breland, choosing not to go on camera, plan to marry fiancé Nolan M. Sandy on May 16th.
It was very upsetting when this first happened. Now I've kind of accepted it and am glad that we're able to do it.
Beth Ann decided she will stick it out and wait until October 3rd.
Like everybody says, this is kind of a cliche, but it's the marriage that's important. It's not the wedding.
Holtzclaw also with some advice for couples.
It's not about, the grandeur of, how big and beautiful your wedding is. It's really just that special moment between you and your husband and promising to love each other forever.
August will be a busy month for Abigail. She plans to also walk the stage to earn her degree from the University of Alabama. That's also Beth Ann's alma mater. Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.